It's 2025. The world is faster, more unpredictable than ever. You walk down a familiar street, your mind on your phone, on your day, then chaos. A sudden shove, a hand grabbing your arm, the cold shock of an ambush. In that split second, everything you thought you knew about self-defense is put to the ultimate test. The question isn't whether you've trained, it's whether your training can save you. We often think of martial arts as a shield, a set of moves to deploy in a fight. But a real ambush isn't a fight. It's a predator striking from the shadows. Your opponent isn't interested in a fair contest. They want your wallet, they want your life, they want it fast. Many people put their faith in traditional martial arts. They spend years in the dojo perfecting forms, practicing techniques against a willing partner. Aikido, with its graceful throws, joint locks, it's the art of peace, of turning an attacker's own force against them, is beautiful to watch. But the street is a brutal, ugly place. Hollywood has sold us a lie. We've all seen it. The hero, surrounded by a dozen thugs, calmly dispatches them one by one with a flurry of flawless kicks and throws. It looks incredible. It's also complete fantasy. Real-world violence is nothing like a choreographed movie fight. It's messy, chaotic, terrifyingly fast. The idea of a respectful one-on-one duel is a myth. In a real ambush, there are no rules, no honor, and no referee. The attacker's goal is to overwhelm you instantly. Using shock brutality, they won't wait for you to get into a fighting stance. Experts like Rory Miller have spent careers explaining this. Rory Miller, a corrections officer, tactical team leader, he talks about the freeze, that moment of psychological shock when your brain can't comprehend the attack. You just stand there frozen as the assault happens. This isn't cowardice, it's a biological response. Martial arts schools that don't train for that shock are setting you up for failure. They prepare you for sport, not life or death ambush. You might face multiple attackers. There could be hidden weapons. The environment becomes a factor. You might think an ambush is something that only happens in dark alleys in bad parts of town. You'd be wrong. The statistics paint a much more common and frightening picture. Surprise attacks are the standard, not the exception when it comes to violent crime. According to law enforcement data from across the globe, the vast majority of physical assaults begin with an element of surprise. The attacker gets close under a pretext, asking for the time for directions or simply appearing out of nowhere before launching their attack. This is how predators operate. They hunt for the unaware. Think about the numbers. Reports on street crime consistently show that in over 70% of physical assaults, the victim was caught completely off guard. These aren't duels, they are ambushes. The attacks are often initiated from a blind spot, from behind, from the side, to maximize the attacker's advantage. The goal is to incapacitate the target before they can mount any effective defense. This is especially true in robberies, where the assailant wants to get the goods and get away with the least amount of resistance possible. The statistics are a cold, hard reminder. Your biggest enemy is complacency. Furthermore, the nature of these attacks is brutal and direct. The most common opening moves in a real-world assault are not a fancy kick or a haymaker punch. They are shoves, grabs, and sucker punches. These are gross motor movements designed to disrupt your balance and your thinking all at once. So, faced with the brutal reality of an ambush, where does a traditional art like Aikido fit in? Forget the flowing robes and the serene dojo for a moment. Let's drill down to the core principles. At its heart, Aikido is not about fighting fire with fire. It's about becoming water. It teaches you how to blend with an incoming force, redirect it, and use the attacker's own momentum and aggression against them. This is a powerful concept for survival, especially when you are outweighed, outnumbered, or taken by surprise. You don't have to be stronger than your attacker if you can control their balance. The first key principle is blending, or aways. When someone shoves or grabs you, the instinctive reaction is to resist, to push back. Aikido teaches the opposite. You move with the force. You yield to it, just for a moment. This is not weakness, it's strategy. By blending with the attack, you avoid the full impact of the force and you stay connected to your attacker. This robs them of their power. They expect resistance, a solid object to hit. When you blend, you become a ghost, and their committed force suddenly has nowhere to go. From blending, you move to redirection. You guide the attacker's energy into a circle, leading them off balance, creating a window to escape. Let's get practical. Imagine you're walking and suddenly a hand clamps down on your wrist from behind. They yank you backward. Your heart jumps into your throat. The ambush has begun. The attacker's goal is to control you, to drag you somewhere, to immobilize you. Your instinct screams to pull away, to fight the grip. But this is exactly what the attacker expects. You'll be locked in a tug-of-war you are likely to lose. They have the element of surprise and are committed to the motion. This is where Aikido's principles become your lifeline. Instead of pulling, you do the opposite. You yield. As they pull your arm back, you turn your entire body with the pull. Don't fight the energy. Join it. This single move does several things at once. First, it prevents your shoulder joint from being injured by the sudden jerk. Second, it instantly relieves the pressure on your wrist because you are no longer resisting. Third, and most importantly, it turns you to face your attacker. You've just gone from being a victim, pulled from behind, to facing the threat head-on, all while using their own energy. Now you are facing them, and they are still holding your wrist, their arm likely extended. This is your window to break the grip and run. Here's another common scenario. You're in a crowded space, maybe a bar, maybe a train station. Someone aggressively shoves you from the side. It's a classic dominance play, a precursor to a more serious assault. The shove is designed to knock you off balance, to make you look weak, and to test your reaction. The natural response is to tense up and shove back. This escalates into a direct confrontation. This is a bad move. You don't know if this person has friends, if they have a weapon, or what their ultimate intention is. Aikido offers a smarter way. As the shove comes from the side, you don't resist it. You pivot. You turn your body toward the push, letting the force travel through you. Your feet move, taking a small step to create a new, stable base. To the attacker, it looks like their shove landed. You've moved several feet. But in reality, you absorb the impact and remain perfectly balanced. You have diffused the immediate physical threat without a power struggle. The most effective self-defense technique is the one you never have to use. All the physical training in the world is useless if you walk blindly into an ambush. This is where the survival mindset comes in, and it starts long before any attack happens. It's about awareness. Law enforcement and security experts call this condition yellow, a state of relaxed alertness. You're not paranoid, but you are paying attention to your surroundings. You notice the person loitering by the ATM. You see the group that changes direction when you do. You clock the exits in a room. This isn't about fear, it's about information. This pre-ambush awareness is your first line of defense. Predators are lazy. They look for easy targets. People who are distracted, buried in their phones, oblivious to the world around them. Simply by making eye contact, by walking with purpose, and by showing that you are aware, you can make yourself a less appealing target. Gavin DeBecker's work highlights this. Predators often test their potential victims with subtle boundary crossings. If you respond assertively to these small tests, they will often move on to someone easier. Your awareness is a silent deterrent. The goal after contact is not to fight. It is to create distance and seek safety. In the chaos of an ambush, your greatest enemy can be your own mind. When sudden violence erupts, your body is slammed with a cocktail of adrenaline cortisol. This is the acute stress response, often called fight, flight, freeze. Your heart rate skyrockets, your breathing becomes shallow, you get tunnel vision, your fine motor skills evaporate, you can't perform complex techniques, you can't even think clearly. This is where the mental conditioning aspect of traditional arts like Aikido becomes incredibly valuable. It's about mastering your inner state. Psychologists who study performance under pressure, soldiers, surgeons, all agree the ability to manage panic is a critical survival skill. Aikido training emphasizes calm, centered movement. Controlled breathing, kokyu, is a form of stress inoculation. Every time you practice, you are learning to maintain your composure while dealing with incoming force. You learn to connect your breath to your movement, which acts as an anchor in the storm. When the adrenaline hits, this training can give you a crucial split second of clarity instead of being completely overwhelmed by panic. This mental composure allows you to access your training. It's the difference between freezing and acting. So, can Aikido save you in a real ambush? The answer is yes, but with a crucial condition. It must be adapted for the brutal reality of 2025. The flowing techniques and philosophical ideals must be forged into a practical tool for survival. It's not about becoming an Aikido master. It's about internalizing its core survival principles. Forget the fancy throws you see in demonstrations. Focus on what will get you out of the fire in the first 3 seconds of an attack. Here is your checklist for making Aikido a real-world survival system. First, prioritize awareness above all else. Before you even think about a physical technique, practice situational awareness. Keep your head up and your phone in your pocket. Scan your environment. Trust your gut instinct. If a situation feels wrong, it probably is. Avoid. De-escalate. Exit before it turns violent. This is the highest form of self-defense. Second, train for the ambush, not the duel. Your training must simulate the shock and chaos of a surprise attack. Practice from bad positions, sitting down, against a wall, being grabbed from a blind spot. Drill your responses to the most common attacks: shoves, grabs, and sucker punches. The goal is not to win, but to survive the initial onslaught. Your training mantra should be: survive. Create space, run. Adapt your Aikido, train for reality, and you will have a powerful tool for navigating the dangers of the modern world. To support the channel, comment, like, share, and subscribe. To receive notification on future content, select the post notification bell. If you want to stay with me, select a video on your screen, and I will see you there.